All right, I need you to just picture this. It's the fall semester of 2023 at Blackwood University, a sprawling campus known for its historic ivy-covered buildings, vibrant student life, and a reputation for academic excellence. The air was thick with the energy of new beginnings, freshmen finding their way, seniors planning their futures, the excitement of football games, and late-night study sessions fueled by endless coffee. Students and faculty alike felt a profound sense of community, a bubble of safety and intellectual pursuit, tucked away from the chaos of the outside world. Among the brightest stars at Blackwood was Sarah Chen, a 20-year-old junior majoring in astrophysics. Sarah was brilliant, kind, and incredibly driven. She was known for her infectious laugh, her passion for stargazing, and her ambition to work for NASA. She spent her days in labs, her evenings at the campus observatory, and her weekends volunteering at the local community center. Sarah was the embodiment of Blackwood's promise, a life full of boundless potential. But that promise was brutally shattered on a crisp October night. Sarah was last seen leaving the campus library just before midnight, heading back to her dorm, a walk she'd made countless times. The path was well lit, usually bustling with other students, yet she never made it. Her body was found hours later, just before dawn, tucked away behind a dense cluster of rhododendrons near the less-traveled walking path leading to the science complex. There were no signs of a struggle, no obvious weapon, and no clear motive. It was an inexplicable act of violence, a complete mystery. The immediate aftermath was pure chaos. The campus, usually a hive of activity, went into an unprecedented lockdown. Sirens wailed, police cars swarmed, and the once comforting ivy walls now felt like the cold, confining boundaries of a crime scene. A palpable wave of fear, cold and visceral, swept through the student body. Social media exploded with frantic posts, desperate questions, and grim warnings. The feeling that their safe space had been violated, that a killer walked among them, was unbearable. The initial investigation was a whirlwind of frustration for law enforcement. A university campus is a unique challenge, a vast, sprawling environment with thousands of transient residents, many coming and going at odd hours. Eyewitness accounts were conflicting and unreliable. Securing such a large area after the fact was nearly impossible. Every student, every faculty member, every visitor was a potential witness, or worse, a potential suspect. The very nature of campus life, with its open access and diverse population, suddenly became its greatest vulnerability. By the end of that first harrowing week, the campus was under a permanent shadow. A vibrant hub of dreams had been transformed into a place of profound dread. A murderer was loose, and despite intense efforts, there were no clear answers. Sarah Chen's vibrant life was extinguished, leaving behind an immediate unsolved mystery that gripped Blackwood University in a chilling embrace. In the immediate aftermath of Sarah Chen's murder, Blackwood University transformed. The vibrant campus, once bustling with life, became a hub of intense police activity and a suffocating atmosphere of fear. Detectives, aided by local and state police, launched an exhaustive investigation, interviewing literally hundreds of students, faculty, and staff. Forensic teams meticulously scoured the crime scene, hoping for any overlooked shred of evidence, any tiny clue that could point to the killer. Public appeals for information went out, plastered across local news and social media, but yielded little of substance. The impact on student life was profound. Blackwood's administration, desperate to restore a semblance of order and safety, implemented drastic measures. Increased security patrols, often visible officers walking the quad, became the norm. Curfews were enforced, and access to certain campus areas was restricted. The once vibrant social scene, known for its lively parties and spontaneous gatherings, became muted and guarded. Students walked in groups, their eyes constantly scanning, a pervasive sense of paranoia clinging to every shadow. Dorm doors that were once left ajar were now double-locked, and every unfamiliar face became a source of suspicion. As days bled into weeks, the lack of concrete leads fueled a firestorm of conflicting theories and chilling rumors across campus. Was it a random act of violence by an outsider who slipped onto campus? Or was it someone known to Sarah? Perhaps a jealous rival, a disgruntled classmate, or even a professor? Some whispered about a campus killer, a phantom figure living among them, capable of striking anywhere, anytime. Others speculated it was a targeted hit, though no one could fathom why Sarah, so beloved and focused, would be a target. The rumor mill ran rampant online and in hushed conversations, turning innocent speculation into terrifying possibilities. The frustration for the investigators was palpable. Despite their exhaustive efforts, there was no strong alibi that broke the case, no definitive eyewitness who saw the killer, and no weapon found. The killer seemed to have vanished into thin air after the crime, leaving behind a profound unsolved mystery. Each lead seemed to dissipate. Each theory proved inconclusive. The chilling reality set in. The killer might still be on campus, blending seamlessly into the background, an undetected predator in a place designed for growth, not death. The fear of an unknown perpetrator living among them became a haunting, creepy presence. Every stranger on campus, every familiar face in the library or dining hall, now carried the terrifying possibility of being the killer. The once comforting ivy walls of Blackwood University now felt like they were holding a dark secret, a shadow that moved unseen through its historic halls, leaving the entire community with a chilling sense of vulnerability and a growing dread that the killer might truly never be caught. As the initial frenzy surrounding Sarah Chen's murder at Blackwood University slowly subsided, the chilling reality set in. The killer remained at large. The exhaustive efforts of law enforcement yielded no clear suspect, no definitive motive, and no weapon. The daily police updates grew less frequent, the news cycle moved on, and eventually, Sarah's case, like so many others, went cold. The file, once overflowing with active leads, was quietly transferred to the cold case unit, becoming one of countless lingering unsolved mysteries. The passage of time did little to heal the wounds on Blackwood's campus. While students eventually returned to their routines, a profound and permanent shift had occurred. The vibrant, carefree atmosphere was replaced by a pervasive undercurrent of caution and a lingering sadness. A memorial garden was established near the science complex, a beautiful but somber reminder of the life tragically cut short. New security measures, more cameras, enhanced lighting, stricter access controls, became standard, a tangible legacy of the horror story that had unfolded. Yet, these measures, while necessary, also served as a constant reminder that the campus was no longer the innocent haven it once seemed. For Sarah's parents, the years that followed were an unending torment. Every birthday, every holiday, every academic achievement that Sarah would never experience became a fresh wave of grief. They made yearly appeals to the media, their voices filled with raw pain, pleading for anyone with information to come forward. They hired private investigators, consulted psychics, clung to every faint hope, but each path led to another dead end. The silence from the police, unavoidable as it was, only deepened their agony. Their daughter's story, a vibrant life, was stuck in an agonizing limbo, an unsolved mystery that consumed their every waking moment. Over the next 2 decades, there were sporadic, renewed efforts. An anniversary would prompt a fresh look. A new detective might review the dusty files, or a new forensic technique would emerge, offering a fleeting glimmer of hope. Advances in DNA analysis, digital forensics, and behavioral profiling revolutionized criminal investigations in the wider world. Yet for Sarah's case, they frustratingly yielded no breakthrough. The unique challenges of a campus murder, a transient population, subtle social dynamics, and the passage of time blurring memories, seemed to conspire to keep the truth hidden. As 20 years passed, the sense of hopelessness deepened. Sarah Chen's case had become a permanent part of Blackwood's history, a chilling ghost beneath the ivy. It was a stark reminder that some dark secrets, even those hidden in plain sight, seemed destined to remain buried, turning a promising future into an enduring cold case and a haunting, creepy enigma for all eternity. For nearly 2 decades, the murder of Sarah Chen remained one of Blackwood University's most haunting cold cases. The initial whirlwind of fear and investigation had long settled into a somber, permanent stain on the campus's history. Memorials were held, security measures enhanced, but the truth remained elusive. Sarah's parents, though aging, never gave up, their unwavering pleas for justice a constant, painful reminder of the unsolved mystery that had stolen their daughter. The file, thick with reports and dead ends, sat largely untouched in a dusty archive. Then, in the spring of 2043, nearly 20 years after Sarah's death, A whisper from the past finally pierced the silence. The catalyst wasn't a confession or a new witness, but the relentless march of advanced forensic technology. A new federal grant allowed the Blackwood Police Department to resubmit old, unanalyzed evidence from several cold cases to a cutting-edge lab specializing in touch DNA and mitochondrial DNA analysis. Among these was a single, microscopic hair strand found clutched in Sarah's hand. Too degraded for 2000s technology, but now, potentially, a gold mine. The results, when they came back, were nothing short of astonishing. The hair contained a full mitochondrial DNA profile. This profile was then run against state and national databases, and after several anxious weeks, it yielded a match. Not to a notorious criminal, not to an outsider, but to David Miller, fictional name, who, chillingly, had been a sophomore at Blackwood University at the time of Sarah's murder. Even more unsettling, Miller had been briefly interviewed during the initial investigation as a general student witness, and then completely dismissed due to a seemingly solid, though vague, alibi provided by his then-girlfriend. The revelation sent shockwaves through the renewed investigative team. David Miller was now a respected professor at another university in a neighboring state, a family man with no public criminal record. He seemed the antithesis of a killer. But the DNA didn't lie. As detectives delved back into his past, re-examining his life in 2023, the shocking truth began to unfold. Miller had harbored a secret, creepy obsession with Sarah Chen, fueled by unrequited affection that morphed into resentment and then something far darker. He had meticulously studied her routine, learning the less traveled paths she took, and on that fateful October night, he had ambushed her. His girlfriend's alibi was a flimsy lie, easily broken down under new scrutiny. The campus community of Blackwood University reacted with a renewed wave of shock and profound horror. The idea that the killer had been a fellow student, walking among them for years, celebrating graduations, and even going on to a successful career, was a deeply unsettling true story. The sense of betrayal was immense, transforming their unsolved mystery into a chilling narrative of hidden evil. The killer wasn't some phantom from outside. He was one of their own, an unseen predator who had blended seamlessly into the ivy-covered halls for 2 decades. The past, finally, had revealed its shadow. The conviction of David Miller, nearly 2 decades after he murdered Sarah Chen, brought a measure of justice, but it could never truly heal the wound he inflicted upon Blackwood University. His unmasking was a chilling vindication of the cold case unit's persistence and the power of modern forensics, yet it left a permanent, creepy scar on the campus and its community. The once idealistic view of university life, a bubble of safety and intellectual pursuit, was irrevocably shattered. The cost of this delayed justice was immense. While Sarah's family finally had answers, the pain of her loss remained, now compounded by the knowledge that her killer had walked free, built a life, and even worked in academia, just like their daughter had aspired to. For Blackwood University itself, the incident became a grim part of its history, a constant, somber reminder etched into its very identity. New security measures that followed Sarah's murder, increased lighting, more surveillance cameras, controlled access points, and heightened student safety programs became standard, transforming the campus from a place of open freedom to one of necessary vigilance. These unsolved campus murders and their eventual resolution fundamentally eroded the innocence of campus life. The notion that danger primarily came from outside the gates, from random acts or external threats, was disproved by the horrifying reality of an unseen predator hiding within. Students who should be focused on learning and growth now carry a subconscious awareness that evil can exist anywhere, even in the most familiar faces. This permanent shift means a new generation of students walks with a heightened sense of caution, constantly assessing their surroundings, a subtle but significant change in the very fabric of campus life. Even with a resolution, the persistent "what if" continues to haunt. What if the DNA technology had existed earlier? What if David Miller's initial alibi had been scrutinized more thoroughly? These questions linger, feeding a sense of unease and underscoring the complexities of bringing justice to these cold cases. The strange, dark, and mysterious truth is that sometimes even the most dedicated efforts can take decades to bear fruit, leaving a generation to live with the specter of an unknown killer. Ultimately, the story of Sarah Chen and Blackwood University serves as a powerful, unsettling true story and a perpetual warning. It reminds us that while campuses strive to be sanctuaries of learning, they are not immune to the darkness that exists in the world. The memories of these unsolved campus murders ensure that even beneath the ivy, where dreams are nurtured and futures are shaped, a chilling shadow can lurk, reminding us that vigilance is a price of safety, and that sometimes the greatest horror story unfolds among us.